Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, hi, hello, my name is Samira. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Today's video is about why I made the documentary with the BBC, which went live 4 days ago when I'm filming this. I've taken some time just to process the feedback, the positivity that I've had, the comments. You will never know how much that means to me. Before I jump into the video, if you're new, then obviously feel free to subscribe so you don't miss when I post brand new videos, and I'll get straight into the video. So earlier this year, I invited the BBC into my home, into my life, to film a documentary slash interview on my bipolar, the struggles I faced, where I am now, and what I've kind of done about it. And the video highlights that I decided to take that negative, not that I necessarily see it as a negative, I don't see me having bipolar as a negative at all, but the negatives that come with mental health and how I've tried to turn it into a positive. And how I've done that is to start a YouTube channel all about mental health, all about trying to raise awareness, all about trying to get rid of the stigmas that go along with the mental health. I just want to say thank you to every single person that has left me a comment, that has messaged me, that has liked, that's commented, that has shared my story. I was so overwhelmed and I needed a few days just to process really how big it's actually got. And right now in this moment in time, it's had over 50,000 people view it across social media platforms. Inviting the BBC into my home, into my life, and videoing things that people never knew and putting that out there was such a scary and daunting thing, but it's something that I wanted to do to help raise awareness, to help try and explain bipolar a little bit more, to help highlight the struggles that people face with mental health, but also to show that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that sounds so cliche, but there really was a light at the end of the tunnel, and I never ever thought that I'd be sitting here today filming this video. I never thought I would be in a position where I would be well enough to make that documentary and to share that aspect of my life, because I genuinely didn't think I would be here. At the start of that documentary, you see me crying and emotional and upset, and that's because I've never really shared on my social media how bad my mental health got, to the point where I took an overdose and I tried to end my life. And that is the worst point in my life that I've ever been. And if you've ever felt that low, or if you've ever attempted to take your life, you'll know just how desperate and how hurt you are, to the point where you feel like there is no other option but to take your life. The hurt that you feel, the burden that you feel on other people, and everything else that's going on in your life, and it just gets too much, that feels like the only option. And that is a feeling that I would never wish upon anybody, and I would never ever want anybody to feel. We started the video off like that, to just show how raw mental health can be and how bad it can be, but also to end the video on a positive. And the positive is that as much as I was in that place, I've been able to use my own experiences, my own journey, and to share that on my social media platform with you guys, and bring you along the way across my journey, just to see how far I've come, and just to show people that it is possible to recover, and that it is possible that there is a light at the end of that tunnel. And for me, that light at the end of the tunnel was when I found out I was pregnant. I have had 99.9% positive comments and feedback, but putting myself out on social media did open myself up for criticism and hateful comments. Never ever ever in that video did I say having a baby cured my mental health, and that everybody should go out and have a baby and that will give you a purpose. That was never ever what I said in my video. that was my journey, my story, and for me, that was the turning point in my life, which was I was so low, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was told that I couldn't have children, and all of a sudden, I was given this miracle, and that is what I see my son as, is I see him as a miracle, and he really, really did save my life. That's not just because I had a baby and all of a sudden things got better. That was just, I felt like I didn't have a purpose in life. I felt like I had nothing to live for. And by having William, he gave me a purpose. And I love him so much. I love him unconditionally. And the love he has for me is something that I can't put into words. The hateful comments said that they felt sorry for my son. There's no need to feel sorry for him, I can assure you. He is the most loved child in the world. My mental health does not impact him whatsoever. I have never loved a human being like I do with him. And I think the video shows the clips of me and him, of the love and the bond that we have. So just to address one of the comments, another comment was that the state now has to pick up my mental health problems and provide for my son. I provide for my son, nobody else does. I provide for my son by going out and working because I wanted to be a role model for him. It would be easy for me to sit at home and mope and feel sorry for myself. That's not the case whatsoever, and I never made the video for people to feel sorry for me. So I provide for my child, and for the comments that the state provide for my mental health. I do see a nurse psychiatrist and I do have medication, but I pay into the NHS because I pay my national insurance and I pay my taxes. So I'm sorry if you feel like you have to pick up on people like me. I hope you're never in a situation that you need help from the NHS and you need that support. I don't want to focus on the negative comments, but it is something that affected me, and it really made me take a step back, but it also highlighted to me how important it is to keep talking about this, to keep raising awareness, because obviously there is still that stigma attached. Putting my son out there online, I've never ever done before. So the BBC video is the first time anybody has ever seen my son on social media, and it's something that I debated for a long, long time. But my son is such a massive, massive, important part of my life that I wanted to share that because he saved me. He saved my life, quite literally, because I had to turn it around and I had to be this strong person for him, and I wanted to get better to be the best possible person for him. The BBC spent 8 hours that day videoing with me, so as much as you see that 4.5 minute clip, there was 8 hours of filming, and there's a lot of things that weren't put in there and didn't quite make the cut. I made that video because bipolar, I feel like, isn't really talked about. And before I had bipolar, I didn't know anybody with bipolar. The only association I knew with bipolar was on BBC EastEnders, Jean Slater, Stacey Slater, when they're out in the street and they're running and Stacey stole the baby, and there's all this crazy things. And I wanted to show you that we're more than the label. I'm an actual person. This is my actual life. And as much as it has affected me negatively in the past because I didn't have the support, I didn't have the diagnosis, I didn't have the correct medication, I now live a completely normal life just like anybody else does. I work, I have my own home, I've got my son, and life is worth living. And I couldn't see that back then at that time, but I can now. I never expected it to reach so many people, and for so many people to say that they were touched, they were inspired by my bravery, by me putting myself out there, really was overwhelming. And I'm trying not to get upset, but obviously I am getting emotional because I never expected that support from people, and for people to actually listen to my story and see me for more than the label of bipolar. I never expected that response, and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful to everybody who could see past the stigma and who could see the video for what it was meant to be, which was raising awareness. It was never for publicity and I wanted to be famous, and that wasn't the intention of the video. It was to raise awareness, to share my story, for people to feel like they weren't alone, but also to raise awareness. Like I said in the video, bipolar, on average, it takes 10 years to diagnose. That's a long time for somebody to go through the lows and the highs and not have control over their life before getting that diagnosis. And the diagnosis is crucial in order to get the right support and the help and the medication, because bipolar is a lifelong illness. There is no cure. There is medication to help you, but there is no cure for bipolar. On average, you get misdiagnosed 2 to 3 times, and there was a little bit cut out of the BBC video and it jumped straight to that's why depression is the first point of call. Before, the snippet before that was, would you go to the doctors if you were feeling on top of the world and life was amazing? You wouldn't. You go to the doctors when you feel low, you feel depressed, you feel suicidal, you lose hope. And that's why people get misdiagnosed with depression, is because they don't go to the doctors when they feel on top of the world. Because why would you? You're in such a great mind frame. You know, you're so happy and you seem like the life and the soul of the party, so there's no reason to go to the doctors. But as much as the highs come across as great, they're not that great. They can lead you to be impulsive and make decisions that you wouldn't normally make. And that happens when obviously you hit mania or hypermania. So I just wanted to explain that little bit of the video as well. I haven't been on YouTube for a few months. If you've been following my channel for a while, then you will have noticed. And that was just because life got busy and I just took a little bit of time out to focus on me, to focus on my son. But I just want to assure people that I am in a good place. And the people who left me comments and said, you know, you can see she's so happy. I am happy. I am happy for the first time in the longest time that I can remember. So yeah, I just wanted to sit down and make this video and kind of address why I decided to proceed with the video with the BBC. I have had other media companies reach out to share my story, and I've declined those because I felt like it would take away from the purpose I initially set out to do. It wasn't to be on every social media or media platform and get my face out there and to become, you know, I don't know, in the public eye and have all eyes on me. That was not my intention whatsoever. It was just to share my story, for people to not feel like they were alone, for people to pick up the symptoms and the signs, for people to feel like, do you know what, it's okay to actually talk about it, there's no shame. One thing I will never ever be sorry for is having mental health, and it's something that I will never ever stop talking about. The people who've left me hateful comments, that's an issue with them. That's not an issue with me, and that's a reflection on them, and that's not a reflection on me. I'm not a bad person. I've never, you know, committed crimes or done anything harmful to anybody else. I'm coming from a good place. My story was coming from a good place. And I know that, and everybody who knows me knows that, and that's all that matters to me, is the people closest to me know what my intentions were and know who I am as a person. Unfortunately, when you put yourself out there on social media and on these platforms, you do leave yourself open to be criticised. It wasn't until it went up on the BBC Three YouTube page that I actually received that criticism. I have since asked Joe, who filmed the video and has been so supportive, so lovely, and I cannot thank enough for all the support he's given me from the start, before even filming, throughout the filming process, and afterwards. The aftercare I've had has been amazing, and to disable the comments because I feel like they're harmful to other people. If I was in a worse state mentally, they could be harmful to me, and I just don't feel like there's a place anymore in society for negative, hateful comments. I don't condone them, and I won't react in a negative, hateful way, because having hate and then giving back hate just produces more hate, and that's just not me as a person. I feel like those people maybe are going through something themselves, and so I feel sorry for them, and I hope they get the help and support that they need, like I have. I haven't let those comments affect me, because, like I said, I know who I am as a person and what my intentions were. If anybody has any questions, feel free to leave them below. Like I said, I'm an open book. I will film videos on whatever anybody wants. And I would rather people ask me questions than make assumptions. So if anybody has any questions on the BBC documentary, on bipolar, on anything to do with mental health that they would like me to address, then please message me, comment, let me know. But I'm not going to let those comments stop me. I'm going to keep filming videos. I'm going to keep doing what I love, which is raising awareness and sharing my story and bringing you guys along the way with me. And I just, again, want to thank everybody for all the support that you've given me. I really, really do appreciate it. It literally does mean the whole entire world. And for everybody to be so accepting as well, shows that we've made massive steps. As a society, as people as a whole, because mental health before wasn't something that was accepted. So thank you guys. I will be trying to film more videos. If there's anything you want me to film in particular, then again, message me, leave comments below, and let me know. But until then, I will see you in my next video. Thanks guys.